All right, let's talk about Brazil. We're diving deep into Latin America's biggest economy, which is just a massive world of opportunity for Turkish medical device companies. But, it's a market with huge potential and its own set of very unique challenges. So let's get right into it.
First things first, let's talk numbers, because this one is a real attention grabber. The Brazilian medical device market, it's on track to hit a mind-blowing $25 billion by 2032. Now think about that. That's up from around $15 billion in 2024. We're not just talking about a market here. We're talking about a massive, ever-expanding frontier for healthcare tech.
And this quote, this really gets to the heart of the strategy. You have to understand, succeeding in Brazil isn't just about winning in one country. No way. It's about setting up a critical base of operations, a strategic hub that lets you launch into the rest of the South American continent. It's the ultimate springboard.
So, what's behind all this explosive growth? What's the engine driving this thing? Well, in this first part, we're going to break down the key reasons why Brazil's healthcare market is such an exciting place to be right now. What's so fascinating here is how all these different forces are coming together to create this, perfect storm of demand. On one hand, you've got these major shifts in the population itself. People are getting older, and chronic diseases are on the rise. Both of those things create a constant need for new medical devices. And then, on the other hand, you have the government pushing for universal healthcare, which means more people have access to care. While at the same time, there's this huge move towards digital health and surgeries that are way less invasive. It's a whole new ballgame.
And this chart, well, it tells you exactly where the money's going. The import market alone jumped to over $9.3 billion in 2024. Leading the pack is Immunology and in vitro diagnostics, or IVD, at almost $3.7 billion. No surprise there, with a big focus on testing these days. General and plastic surgery is another giant, which makes sense since Brazil is a world center for cosmetic procedures. And remember that aging population we talked about? Yep, that's why orthopedics and spine surgery is a nearly $700 million opportunity all by itself.
But of course, a market this big and this fast-moving isn't without its own set of hurdles. If you're going to build a strategy that lasts, you absolutely have to understand the unique forces at play in its healthcare system and the risks that come with them.
Okay, this table is so important for understanding how this market is really split in two. The public system, called SUS, it covers a massive 164 million people, but it's all about price. They are extremely budget conscious. But now look at the private sector. It covers fewer people, sure, but it controls almost 2/3 of the country's hospitals. This is where the action is for high-tech imports. They're all about innovation, efficiency, and getting the latest and greatest devices. That's your target.
But even in that private sector, cost is a huge deal. Take a cutting-edge piece of equipment like the Da Vinci surgical robot. In Brazil, that can set a clinic back about $1.7 million. That price tag just puts it completely out of reach for a lot of smaller private clinics. Now, this is a big challenge for sure, but it also creates a massive opening for companies that can deliver amazing technology without that super premium price tag.
So, let's kind of put this all together. On one side, you have this incredible opportunity with a private sector that's hungry for new tech and import demand that's just soaring. But on the flip side, you've got to deal with local manufacturers who have a price advantage, the ever-present risk of product recalls that can really damage your brand's reputation, and of course, the infamous Custo Brasil, the Brazil cost. That's the local term for all the layers of bureaucracy and crazy complex taxes that can make doing business there more expensive. Which brings us to what is, for most companies, the single biggest hurdle: getting through the regulatory maze of ANVISA. That's Brazil's national health agency. It can feel like a labyrinth, honestly, but if you know the right path, it's totally manageable.
The very first thing you have to wrap your head around is the Brazil Registration Holder, or BRH. Think of them as your legal boots on the ground. It's a local company that officially holds your device registration. As a foreign company, you cannot, I repeat, cannot apply to ANVISA on your own. You are legally required to have a BRH.
Now listen up, because this is a really common mistake that can be absolutely fatal to your business in Brazil. A lot of companies just let their first distributor be their BRH. But here's the problem. If that distributor holds your registration and things go south with your business relationship, they can literally refuse to transfer it. And just like that, you're locked out of the market. You can't sell through anyone else. Your entire investment is basically being held hostage.
So, let's walk through the right way to do this, the smart way. Step 1. Appoint an independent BRH, one that works for you and only you, not your distributor. Then you figure out your device's risk class, you put together all the technical paperwork, you get any other local certifications you might need, and then your BRH handles the submission to ANVISA. See? This way, you stay in the driver's seat.
Okay,
So now that we have all that context, the good, the bad, and the complicated, how can a Turkish company actually build a winning playbook? Well, this last section pulls it all together into a clear step-by-step roadmap for getting in and growing.
The real sweet spot, the core advantage for Turkish firms, is right here. It's all about finding that perfect balance between price and performance. You can offer devices with the quality and innovation to go head-to-head with European brands, but at a price that's much more realistic for the Brazilian market. You're filling that gap between the super expensive imports and the lower quality stuff. It's exactly what the market is asking for.
And this map, this is your treasure map. Brazil is a massive country. Don't try to conquer it all at once. Just look at the southeast region, São Paulo, Rio de Janeiro. This area alone accounts for more than half of all hospitals and healthcare spending. If you focus your energy here first, you're going to maximize your impact and get a much better return on your investment.
So, to wrap it all up, here's your checklist for success. 1. Focus on the southeast. 2. Use an independent BHA so you always control your own destiny. 3. You need a local presence, providing tech support in Portuguese. That's not optional. 4. Show up at the Hospitalar Fair in São Paulo. It is the place to be. 5. Keep a close eye on new regulations, like the new Unique Device Identification, or UDI rules. And finally, 6. Always budget for the Custo Brasil.
Look, there's no denying it. The Brazilian market is complex. It's not for the faint of heart. But the opportunity it represents is just immense. If you have the right strategy, if you really understand the local dynamics, and you're committed to quality, well, it's a market that's absolutely ready to be won. The only question left is, are you ready to take it on?